Welcome to my series, where I try to tell Skyrim like it was written in a book, or told in a TV series, with not just one main character who is all of a sudden the Dragonborn, but many different characters, most of which, well, all of which, but one, are not the Dragonborn. This story will be played by many different characters of all different sorts of backstories, and all different combat roles and personalities. I hope you come to enjoy watching this sort of stuff as much as I enjoy making it and playing it. If you guys enjoy, please leave a like, and subscribe if you want. And of course, if you're feeling a bit chatty, drop me a comment and it'll be fun to have a conversation. Anyway, I'm gonna let you get to this. Have fun.
Chapter 22, The Isles of Madness. Ever since I got back out there, it's reawakened my hunger to explore and discover long-lost secrets. I was reading a book on Skyrim's ancient dragon cult past, when I came across a reference of a dragon priest called Tonraq. His name was translated into brutality. The book says he controlled a Nord city deep into the Reach, and that's where he rests. It read that he had an Iron Dragon priest mask. I have found many of these through Skyrim. They solve some puzzle within Labyrinthian. I found that puzzle when I found the Staff of Magnus, but to unlock this puzzle I need to have 9 Dragon Priest masks. I found 1 when I first arrived in Skyrim during the year 199, and then 2 more after I had joined the college. Currently I only have 3, plus the mask to get to this puzzle. So I would venture out once more and find this Dragon Priest and take his mask.
Leave, stranger. Evil stirs in this place. I fear for the security of the very land if it should break free. We stand at the tomb of Tonraq, who has been dead for many generations. I fear, however, that his return may be at hand. I have been holding him here. While he regains strength, however, I am fading. By now, I can barely contain his power, much less defeat him if he awakens. But with the help of a living champion, I may be able to succeed. You would do this? 3 vessels in the tomb below hold the power to vanquish Tonraq. Before anything else, we need those. Bring them to me, but be careful, mortal. They are guarded by Tonraq's minions. They will stop at nothing to see their master return.
Where I found an ancient Nord ghost keeping Tonraq sealed here. But over the thousands of years, he's been growing weaker. He tasked me with finding Tonraq's blood, so we can summon him weakened and destroy him once and for all. Ancient Nordic tombs were a very dangerous place. They were cursed. Anybody that disturbed the resting place of the dead, should if they fall, they would come to protect what they sought to disturb. I found some old coffer. It didn't look like it was from Tamriel, where it had old Aldmeri writings saying this was the coffer of the King of the Seas, King Orgnum. If memory of my history serves me right, I believe he was an Aldmer who was banished from the Somersets. Don't get confused. The Aldmer are not the Altmer. They were Tamriel's first true elves before humans arrived and the bloodlines got mixed. Us Altmer are what remains of the Aldmer's image. This undead Aldmer was eventually defeated when he attacked the Somerset Isles in the Third Era, 11 years before the War of the Red Diamond. He was even known to have made an alliance with Potamos Septim. This was all before my time, though. I myself am only 72 years old. The look I get on the Nords' faces when I tell them that is priceless. Most humans don't even know that us elves live longer than them. We can live up to 300 years. More if we're magically inclined. Hell, I've met some humans that looked 50 but were over 500 years old because of their magical talents. Most of them were horrible people, though. They just lived too long and grew some god complex. It's why I don't really like my own people. The Ultima think themselves the higher race because of our age and natural magical gifts. I feel like it's our weakness. The many races of Tamriel are wonderful and diverse, like the Nords of Skyrim. They can make easy work of surviving Skyrim's cold, harsh climate, even managing to grow food in the snow. Their people's natural resistance to the cold is amazing. Plus, their determination is something to be feared by all. The ancient Falmer, or as they're called, the Snow Elves, tried to cull them, so in response they put them into extinction. They're never willing to give up. I feel sorry for the Empire during the Civil War. The short-sightedness of the Aldmeri Dominions, so-called lesser races, will see the Nords' wrath pointed towards them one day. After fighting my way through what seemed to be hundreds of Nord undead, I finally found this dragon priest blood. We were that closer to ending this monster, and me retrieving his mask. Now I just had to find a dragon claw that I sent flying due to my magic. These puzzles were too easy to unlock, but they weren't made to keep people out. They were made to keep dead people in. I know necromancy is illegal in certain places around Tamriel, but it's magic and should be studied but also respected, only to be used for the sake of survival. It's only hated because of those misusing this power. I'd never kill an innocent and raise them from the dead. I've only ever used necromancy to protect myself. Plus, old Nord tombs are filled with the undead. Why not use those undead to fight the undead? It's less tiring. All I have to do is sit back and watch the mess clean itself up. Work smarter, not harder. I found the last bottle of blood, and found another dragon word wall. Something is just scratching at me that these are important, but to what end? Ended up finding some very well-preserved dragon priest dagger. This thing was so sharp it could have cut dragons. Was time to awaken this lich and put him down and take that mask.
You found the vessels. I was worried that I had sent you to your death. In life, Tnoraq drained his own blood from his body. His goal was to transfer his power back into himself after death, becoming a powerful lich. The vessels contain that very blood. Empty them, and you remove any chance he has of regaining his former powers. Very well. Empty the vessels into the slots near the throne. Then sit in the throne. When you have done so, I will unbind Tnoraq. He will awaken in a weakened state, but the lich is still to be reckoned with. Be ready.
I thought the Wobberjack would be useful, but this thing is unpredictable. Either it turns things into a chicken or a crab, or a Dremora or a random destruction spell. It's made to make you go mad with fury. I put this dragon priest down and took his mask, and in doing so, after thousands of years, Valdar could now rest.
Thank you, hero. Now, I may finally rest. Take Tnoraq's iron mask. It may be of use to you, and serve as some reward for your feat here.
My quest was complete. I wasn't planning to live out in the wilds. I wanted a warm inn, but not in the Reach. The Reach is just too crazy. Plus, I don't want to sleep on a stone bed. So while there's still plenty of sunlight, I'll go to Solitude.
Mother. Why? What are you gonna do? Cry? I don't have...
How dare he talk to me like that? I am Archmage to the College of Winterhold. He didn't stand a chance against my power. It's for the better he tried that on me than some other poor traveler. The Reach was full of these damn forsworn. At least with the civil war raging all over Skyrim, there's more soldiers on the roads to deal with these lunatics. When it comes to the war, I haven't picked a side, and I won't. The Jarl of Winterhold demands that the college should fight for Skyrim's freedom, but before this war, they wanted us all gone. The Nords fight because the Empire made their Nord god illegal, and the Empire fights to retain its power in the region. But both can't see that the real enemy and cause of this war is the Thalmor. I have to respect the Thalmor's intelligence, though, to turn Skyrim and Cyrodiil against each other, and to get them to do it for you. After all, they knew that Skyrim saved the Empire from the Great War, so they went and made the Empire outlaw Talos, causing the Nords to lose faith and then go to war against the Empire. Very smart play.
Welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend. Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
I'd stay here for the day, drink some fine wine, explore the city and visit this bard's college, then head back home in the morning. When all of a sudden the ground shook under our feet. That was very odd. Nobody else seemed to feel it. Very strange that only I could feel it. There was some noise coming from the sewers, like there was a battle going on down there. I had to grab my gear and find out what was going on. Last place I wanted to be was the damn sewers. It looked like some massive vine had broken into Solitude's sewers, and it was filled to the brim with strange-looking bugs and odd-looking spriggans. This vine certainly wasn't natural, nor was it part of this world. I come across dead Daedra. I had seen these in the College of Winterhold's Midden. Think they were golden saints. There was one still alive protecting some exit.
Tell me why I should not kill you where you stand. Fool, you will pay for your... Wait, could you be? Yes, you are the mortal who aided Lord Sheogorath. Yes, you survived Palaguis' madness, which makes you especially resilient for a mortal. My name is Staada, of the Orioles. I'm a guardian of the Shivering Isles, and the favored servant of the Prince of Madness. For centuries, the Isles have been home to the Asylum, a realm that serves as a prison for my lord's enemies. But the Mad God's absence and the chaos that has resulted in the years since gave the prisoners the opportunity they needed to start a riot. The guards have been slain, and the exiles threaten to escape and wreak havoc. I have been tasked with restoring stability to the Asylum. Look around you. The Shivering Isles have already touched your realm, and the consequences are obvious. Our worlds belong apart. As for the exiles, I cannot say for certain, though I expect they will lash out at everyone and everything they can. Hundreds of years of imprisonment has not softened their hearts. Most turned against the Mad God during the Grey March, an attack on the Isles that last occurred centuries ago. These deviants betrayed our lord and were exiled to the asylum for their treason. The only ones left guarding the asylum are Dylora, the commander of the Mazkin, and myself. We cannot be everywhere at once. We require aid if we are to protect the asylum and break Thorin's riot at the same time. If you survived the journey through the route to reach me, you may be worthy of this task. I ask that you travel with me to the asylum, stop Thorin, and restore peace to the Isles, before the exiles manage to reach your realm. You are about to be given a rare honor, mortal. Follow them into the Isles.
She was the commander of the Golden Saints. Staada has been mentioned as Sheogorath's left hand, and Dylora his right. I really shouldn't have gone into the Shivering Isles. It was utter madness, but I felt like I had to. If the Shivering Isles was connected to Tamriel and these prisoners of madness got out, it would be very bad for Solitude and Skyrim.
This is the asylum, at the far reaches of the Isles.
This place looked amazing. It was very beautiful here. I imagined everything shifting or changing colors as some have described through books. But maybe they were mad.
Was impossible. Until Thorin rallied the exiles, that is. Our guards were destroyed. The asylum fell into chaos. When the Mad God left the realm to visit Palaguis, the Isles stretched out their roots to find him, creating a pathway to your Solitude. Now he has returned, but the route remains agitated. Something is disrupting it, and I believe Thorin is behind it. Now then, we should speak to Dylora, my colleague. In her wisdom, she is elected to guard the impenetrable walls that separate the asylum from the fringe, rather than the open passage to your realm. It seems Dylora has allowed her position to be overrun. The Mad God should not have trusted this task to her. This will make our fight more difficult. I doubt it. They would have left her body for all to see. She is commander of the Dark Seducers. Even as a simpering Mazkin, she would be difficult prey for mortals. No. If she has not willingly abandoned her post, then she has been taken. Thorin will likely have darker purposes for her. Their tracks point toward Stopgap, an abandoned village along the coast. The exiles use it as an encampment. There is an exile chief who dwells there. I ask you to slay him and discover what they plan for Dylora. I do not know what they hope to gain from holding her, but I will not allow Thorin's schemes to further weaken our position. I shall keep watch over the doors, the crossroads, and the route. Return successfully, or not
I had
at all.
so many questions about this place I needed answered.
In the asylum? Yes. My company was overwhelmed. There are more outside this prison. The Orioles are stretched too thin to send us reinforcements, however. The asylum was not the only area affected by my lord's long absence, merely the hardest hit. Certainly not. Only mortals die when they are slain. The Orioles are not so limited, but it will take time for my slain kin to reform from their creatia. We cannot rely on them now. I am uncertain. We have seen too few bodies since we entered the Isles, guard or exile. Something about that is unnerving. Watch yourself. I am an Oriole. My people have served Lord Sheogorath for years uncountable, and I am the greatest among them. You mortals live such fleeting lives, and can hold so little of my lord's attention. You dance to his whims for a moment, and then the moment passes. So I ask you this. What is there to respect? Very well. You may ask. This is the realm of madness, ruled by Sheogorath, Prince of Madness. Like him, the land exists in two opposite halves, manic and demented. Each region has its own lord below him, the Duke and Duchess of Mania and Dementia. But they have failed to protect the Isles in his absence, even beyond the Asylum. Mania is a bright and vibrant realm, filled with color. It encapsulates the more light-hearted side of Sheogorath. My people, the Orioles, are tasked with guarding its territory. Dementia is a dark and dreary marshland in the lowlands of the Isles. It represents the darker side of our Lord's madness. The Mazkin are tasked with guarding the region, though their incompetence means they rarely do so adequately. This is the Shivering Isles. The two halves of the realm are as divided as Lord Sheogorath himself. The climate here is no less unpredictable. Beyond the walls, on the other side of the doors of denial, lies the Fringe. It is where those who seek entry into the realm stay while the madness grows within them. No mortal has passed into the Isles since our Lord left. The Asylum is where we stand now. It was constructed at the end of the previous Grey March to contain the treacherous mortals who defied our Lord. It is inescapable, or so we thought.
The land and weather would change depending on where you were. There were two sides to the Isles, Mania and Dementia. Mania was colorful and pleasant. Dementia was twisted and warped. My goal was to find the Mazkin commander Dylora. Staada said she could be held captive down in some village, so I was to head to this village and kill everyone in my way until I found the Dark Seducer. They had flesh Atronachs. I had never seen one before. They are fan favorites for necromancers. We'll have to learn this spell. Once I cleaned out the village, I found a note saying Dylora was taken to their leader in some cave to be questioned. That was my next stop, and I'll be able to cut the head of the snake off at the same time. This place was utterly unique. This is my first time in Oblivion and hopefully not the last. I can't believe places like this exist. I came across some camp with odd-looking creatures. They had weapons, so they had thought. I approached slowly to not spook them, but they seemed to get aggressive when I got close, so I had to end them. What in Oblivion were these? They reminded me of goblins and Falmer. Were they a living Daedra? Even the realms of Oblivion have their own life, quite simply amazing. I was here. Time to get Dylora out and see who this leader is and end him if I can.
Is the Isles of Madgod. The Madgod is the root.
Stop this, Thoron. Escape is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. I just need you to help me understand. You are part of the Isles. You part of the Mad God. Aren't you? Aren't you? What is this? I was hoping for Staada. Why are you here? Don't you see? She is part of this great and terrible puzzle. But I don't expect you to understand. To you, my purposes are far more mundane. I thought to lure Staada here and crush 2 beetles with 1 stone, ridding myself of these meddlesome turnkeys. But it seems she sent you to do her dirty work instead. How typical. Oh, no matter. After I kill you, she will have no one left to hide behind. You really don't understand, do you? I don't want to get out. I want to get in. Step forward then, outsider. The crystals will so beautifully reflect your blood. Enough of this. The Isles will be your grave.
Thank you, stranger. I'm not sure how much longer I had before Thoron finished with me. Well met. Yes, I am Dylora of the Mazkin, Sheogorath's most faithful servants. It seems we've met at a difficult time. I'll be fine. It takes more than a few spells to slay a Mazkin. We should return to Staada. Even an Oriole like her is a necessary ally in these dark times.
These must be the crystals of order that were left behind after the Grey March. Anyway, I was able to free Dylora, but that coward escaped. Was time to get her back to Staada and form a plan to stop this madness. Along the way, Thoron has sent his lackeys to stop us. They didn't stand a chance. I sometimes forgot that they were locked up for 200 years. The way time works in Oblivion is wild. It can age you up within days or leave you immortal.
Dylora, you should not have allowed yourself to be captured.
Good to see you too, Staada. Perhaps if you'd stayed with me instead of scurrying down a tunnel to a realm the exiles have no interest in, I wouldn't have been.
I told you I was going to find aid. I have found it. Besides, you look fine. Tell me, how does Thoron and the exiles plot fare? Have you learned anything new?
His rambling gave me some sense of his plan. He intends to take control of the route and use it to break through the walls.
Impossible. Only the Mad God.
It's possible, Staada. The route is the Isles, and the Isles are the Mad God. That's what he said. It's madness to try, but that's what he's counting on. He's wielding the Sword of Jiggalag, and he's uncovered an obelisk of order. He's made himself a lair deep within the root, hidden under the falls. The perfect place to carry out his plan.
Then we must travel there at once and slay him before he escapes.
If it were that simple, I'd do it myself. He's constructed an amber barrier to seal off the entrance. There's no way inside.
Not unless we carve one out ourselves.
It's good to see you.
In order to break through Thoron's barrier, we will need a powerful weapon tied to the Isles. Nothing else is strong enough to shatter pure amber. One such artifact, the Hammer Nerve Shatter, was sealed away in the ruins of Borrego long ago. Search the ruins, destroy any exiles you see, and bring it to us. It should prove strong enough in even your mortal hands. Dylora may have learned more of Thorin's plans than she would deign to share with me. You should speak to her. Waste no more time. Thorin's power over the root grows the longer we delay.
Yes, I think I might. The Exiles are a collection of two different groups, the Priests of Order and the Apostles of Light. Thoron keeps them in line. It's a very fragile alliance. They spent centuries here fighting each other. There is no love lost between them. If you were to make it look like the priests and apostles betrayed each other, it might break their truce. Thoron would lose his little army to infighting. The Apostles of Light are a heretical cult that broke into open rebellion during the last Grey March. They believe Lord Sheogorath abandoned madness itself in the face of Jiggalag's attack. This is, of course, a lie, but what matters is that the Apostles believe it. Now they rage against his influence, even from their prison. They're unpredictable, even for the Isles. Their prophet, Cieta, was killed, and her eye was taken from my lord's staff. The Apostles must hear enough of Cieta's heresy and Thoron's words to declare him their new prophet. The Priests of Order followed Jiggalag, the Prince of Order, and Sheogorath's nemesis during the last Grey March. Many of them turned to his side simply to survive. When they failed and were cast out of the Mad God's sanctuary, they rededicated themselves to the Prince of Order, hoping to find belonging. They wait for him to return so they can rejoin him. As you saw, Thoron wields the Sword of Jiggalag, a relic of the Prince of Order. The priests seem to have taken it as a sign of his worthiness. Both groups have been working on ways to build up their strength. If we sabotage those efforts and frame the other group, it might drive them apart. Steal a soul tomato from the Apostles' Grove on the coast, and void essence from the priest's laboratory in Stopgap. Burn down the laboratory and the grove, and leave each item at the other group's location to make it look like sabotage. Void essence is the essence of the void. You're a mortal. You wouldn't. The Apostles grow them. Quite ingenious, though depraved. They've taken the necromantic bindings that tie souls to soul gems and altered them to bind the soul to a plant instead of a crystal. Through this process, they can grow a limitless supply of soul vessels for their enchantments. Though they still rot, unlike gems, which has stopped soul tomatoes from widespread use by the comparatively sane. This is no laughing matter, mortal. Pray your soul does not end up inside one. A horrific construct made of elemental flesh. The priests stitch together each one from the choicest cuts of several different bodies, and bind a lesser Daedra to the finished form. They should be engaged only with great caution. Good luck, outsider. We must hope this will weaken Thoron's plans. I will share what I know. Of course. The last one left in the asylum, yes. There are others in the rest of the Isles. My fallen kin will reform in time, but I will miss them until they do. It's in her nature. The Orioles think they're above everyone, but they're too stubborn and proud to see their own flaws. And Staada is especially proud, even for her kind. Allow her this, and don't take it personally. You are just a mortal, after all. I will share what I know. Jiggalag is the Daedric Prince of Order, and the sworn enemy of my lord. In the past, he would attack and destroy the Isles at the end of every era. We called this assault the Grey March. The cycle was broken over 200 years ago, but the legacy of Jiggalag still hangs over the Isles. The sword of Jiggalag was once the personal blade of the Prince of Order. After he was defeated at the end of the last Grey March, Lord Sheogorath disposed of it. I do not know how it ended up in Thoron's hands. Yes, the obelisks are relics of the Grey March, deeply tied to the Prince of Order. Thankfully, Thoron doesn't seem to have managed to activate it. If he managed that, the consequences would have been severe.
Unlike the Daedra, this mortal needed sleep, and like any night under the stars, I always had 2 Daedra watching over me. They make you take a fork into the asylum. Pretty much everyone has a shiv in there. I've been locked up with Forsworn. That would have been insane to deal with when I had to escape. My goal was to find Nerve Shatter, so we could break through Thoron's amber wall. But first, I needed to cut through its defenders. I felt somewhat guilty that I was killing these people. They had been imprisoned for over 200 years. But if I didn't stop them, they could end up in Tamriel, causing a lot of harm. These ancient ruins looked amazing. But were they even ancient? Does time even work that way here? The idea of being in a timeless land is crazy. That age doesn't affect anything here. Nothing is worn down by time. Like if I was here for a week, would I come out hundreds years later in Tamriel looking the way I do now? Like these people have been here for 200 years. But how long were they in the Shivering Isles before they were imprisoned? Some of these people could be over thousands of years old, or to them it could have only been 10 years.
Kill the outsider!
I found Nerve Shatter. It was a hammer made out of amber. Seems we needed amber to break through amber. On the way back, I heard a dog bark. Didn't know the Isles had dogs here. Some new building appeared. I had already been down this path. There was no dog or house there when I went to get Nerve Shatter. This is the sort of thing I should expect in the Shivering Isles. I was intrigued by its sudden appearance, though, so me being the moron I am, I went in without a second thought to my safety or my mental stability. I couldn't believe it. It was Sheogorath. What in oblivion was going on here? What did I just walk myself into again?
So good to see you again. And for the very first time, Theodore Gorlash, at your service. Eh? Come again? I'm a wee bit deaf in this ear. And a toast to your health as well, my friend. Because there's a corgi nearby, of course. I'm sure you've seen him. Oh, it's quite a tragedy. I used to be the most famous amber sculptor in the Shivering Isles. But an artist who upsets his patron is an artist who starves. And I upset the Mad God quite dearly. One day, the Prince of Madness handed me a chunk of amber. And he said, "Theodore, you're going to take this amber and sculpt me a masterpiece." But that amber didn't have a masterpiece in it. It had something foul. And I had to choose if I was going to make a masterpiece or an abomination. The latter, of course. An artist has his integrity. Well, Sheogorath took one look at it and flew into a rage. "Theodore, you handsome devil," he said. "You've really done it this time. Take that abomination to the asylum where it belongs." So here I am. Business has never been better, though. You're my very first customer. Brings me to tears every time. I regret nothing, though. We all suffered for our art. Come back anytime.
He was pretending to be someone else.
Next year,
The
last
mad
year,
god was here,
whatever worked for
just
your
watching
schedule.
us. This was entertainment for him. But was he someone else? Because the painting above the fireplace. I've seen them before, in books about the Oblivion Crisis. This painting looked like the champion of Cyrodiil, the Holy Crusader himself. And Sheogorath had an uncanny resemblance to the hero of the Oblivion Crisis. And I remember when I was in Palaguis's mind. He did say he was there for the Oblivion Crisis. Did Sheogorath disguise himself and enter Tamriel to stop Mehrunes Dagon from destroying the world, and become a holy crusader to mask his Daedric presence? Because the crusader vanished from history right after the Oblivion Crisis? Did the Daedric Prince of Madness save Tamriel? That's utterly mind-boggling. If I remember correctly, the Crusader was last seen entering a gate of oblivion that resembled the Mad God's Gate. Maybe it really was Sheogorath that saved all of mortal kind from oblivion. I'd say it'd be out of his character, but to be honest, anything out of his character is his character.
Fellow mortal. Mortal fellow.
Mortal. Impossible. We would never allow a prisoner to sell weapons. You must be mistaken. Farewell.
It's good to see you. You seem sincere, but there's no such shop in that part of the asylum. Perhaps the air here is making you see things. You should rest that mortal brain of yours a while.
They had no idea or power to recognize their lord was here watching us.
You have done better than expected, mortal. Now we can make our assault on Thorin's lair. Let me know when you're ready to face him and stop the exile plot once and for all. Then let us be off. Dylora and I will be with you. Thorin cannot hope to stand against us all.
I had nerve shatter, and it was time to confront Thoron and put an end to his plan once and for all.
Whenever you're ready.
Nerve shatter strikes true. Onward to Thorin. Thorin, Lord Sheogorath's justice has come for you.
Staada. And here I thought you'd never dare to face me yourself.
She isn't facing you alone.
Ah, Dylora! I'm glad you're here. Now, all of that lunatic's underlings can die together. Without you in the way, I will be able to finish my work undisturbed.
The Isles are not yours to toy with, Thorin. This path will only lead to your death.
He said you'd say that. He'd said you'd try and talk me out of it. But I'm not listening to you.
What? Who?
Simply a benefactor, helping me bring order to this chaotic place.
Not if we kill you first, exile.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do your best on that account. But my friends will see to it that you fail.
Exiles! Kill them! Kill them all!
Is that all you can do?
Kill me!
Your most faithful servant calls upon your aid.
What happened? All the water's drained out of the room.
It seems Thorin fled down this way. You must pursue him, but beware of what you may find within.
Welcome to my domain. This is the well of inversion. Here, up is down and down is up. Life is death, chaos is order. Staada, Dylora.
Kill the outsider! Now you will die by the sword! No! It was not supposed to be this way! My lord, grant me the strength to destroy this interloper! Bless me with the light of your perfect order!
We had defeated Tharon. It seems he was aided by his Lord of Order, Jigalag. I don't know anything about this
So
Prince
it is
of
done.
Order. Nobody
Thorin's
really does in
fallen.
Tamriel. I wonder if there's more Daedric princes out there.
Good. Now the asylum will be safe from Thorin's threat. We will remember your actions here for many days to come. Take this. This helm has served me well. May it be a reminder of your valor here today. And should you ever need me, simply cast this spell. My debts do not go unpaid. Dylora and I will remain here for a time. We must ensure that Thorin's corruption is fully expunged from the root. Then, we will return to New Sheoth and tell the Mad God what has transpired here. Farewell, mortal. Return as you will. The Shivering Isles will always be open to you.
Once all was done, I returned to Tamriel to safeguard the Dragon Mask and other artifacts of great power. I found this tower on my way back from Labyrinthian when I found the Staff of Magnus. It was located in the Morthal Marsh. The place is dangerous, filled to the brim with undead. This tower was made by college mages during the Third Era, when one of them had a vision of Tamriel on fire. They built this tower to fight what was ever coming. 10 years after it was built, the Oblivion Crisis came. It's a nice place to get away from it all, and it's a safe place to store artifacts. But it was now time to get back to my responsibilities of the Archmage, until I find another mask, or something draws me to the roads once more.
I've been sitting on this story for about 2 months, I think. I don't know, whenever I did that EC Shivering Isles video. Now, I want to say to these guys, the EC team, amazing work. I mean, I was really pissed off with the Creation Club content with the Golden Saints, because nostalgia, you know, Oblivion was my first game and I loved the Shivering Isles content, and then what Bethesda released, or what they got modders to make, was fucking shithouse. Apart from the armor and the weapons, I like that sort of stuff, but the quest itself and the races of the Golden Saints and Dark Seducers was absolute dog shit. The EC team came in and fucking just pour so good. Like, they made that quest line feel so goddamn cool. I mean, 10 out of 10 work from those guys. That was a true nostalgic trip for me as an Oblivion player. So anyway, Minerva's journey. Again, she was able, you know, she's the one that found this, she survived Palaguis' madness, and her next journey to Solitude ended up making her go back into the Isles of Madness, and she survived once more from, you know, from her experience there. I also referenced this in my last video with the creation mod updates, where, you know, people could make now teams and expand upon quests that, like, that are useless after you're done, like the Kilcreath Ruins. Like, once you find Dawnbreaker, the Kilcreath Ruins, which is Marillia's beacon or Marillia's worship place, is absolutely useless. You never ever have a reason to go back there. Once you've been there once, you never go back. And I'd love to see a team do what the EC team did with the Creation Club content and make their own sort of version of that, where it's like expands upon quest lines, blah blah. But I don't want to get too far into that. My main, you know, also let me know. I don't know if I've said this because I made this outro like 3 or 4 times. If you have made it this far, let me know if these episodes are way too goddamn long. Like 51 minutes without the outro is a long time. And myself, I don't know if I could sit there for that long and watch a story. I'd probably have to like go do something in my life, come back and probably get disinterested, or that I've lost. I don't know. Let me know if they're way too long. I probably will pull them back into parts, like part 1, part 2, so people don't get completely and utterly disinterested with the story. Now, there's a discovery from Minerva where she meets Shurugarath, who's pretending to be somebody different, and she recognizes the pictures on the wall and puts the pieces together of the Champion of Cyrodiil and Shurugarath. Now, us as the players that have played Oblivion or watched Oblivion's campaign or stories, things like that, we know that we're not Shurugarath. We eventually become an avatar of Shurugarath during our actions in the Shivering Isles DLC, but you know, I try to think, how do I make sense of that? Like, how did she discover they're the same person? But I was looking at it through my point of view, and a lot of things of writing stories is you got to jump into their head, like the character they've created, and see it through their point of view. And I was like, holy crap! Wouldn't it be amazing if, you know, someone from Tamriel, like, kind of saw what we saw as a player, but, you know, to them, since they're not the player and they haven't done all this, they see that, like, you know, the Champion of Cyrodiil. They don't see the Champion of Cyrodiil as a human. They see the Champion of Cyrodiil as Shurugarath, because again, she's dealing with Shurugarath right in front of her, who's pretending to be somebody else. And the whole entire idea in your head is, what if he was pretending to be somebody else during the Oblivion Crisis? What if he found out that Moonrise Dagon was causing like a plan to disrupt, you know, to destroy Tamriel, and Shurugarath was like, nah man, I'm having too much fun with the mortals, I can't have this happen. So he goes into Tamriel, you know, removes his hair colour, his crazy eyes, his beard, whatever, you know, manifests himself to look like an Imperial, and then becomes a saviour. You know, he basically pretends to be a mortal, and he basically just messes with Moonrise Dagon's plans for a bit of a laugh, or to stop him from destroying the world that he likes, you know, causing a bit of mischief in. Like, you know, from the point of view, from like us as players, we know that this isn't the way it is, but from Minerva's point of view, she's like, holy shit, what if the Champion of Cyrodiil was actually Shurugarath pretending to be somebody else? Because right now he's pretending to be someone else right in front of me. He knows that I know that who he is. He's being cheeky. But what if he did this 200 years ago? What if he knew that Moonrise Dagon was seeking to destroy the world? Because the Daedrics, you know, the Daedric princes kind of have an idea what's going on around their own realms with their spies and all this sort of crap. And he decided, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to help out the mortals, and I'm going to lead them into their protect themselves, blah blah, and once it's all done, I'm going to disappear. So Minerva has discovered that the Champion of Cyrodiil was actually Shira-Gorath, because that's the way it looks to her. That's the way it feels to her. And I guess that's how I make sense of it with Minerva, how she discovered they're the same people. But she doesn't know that the champion of Cyrodiil went to the Shivering Isles to help him, just to free the land or to do a good deed, and then ended up becoming the Mad God. She doesn't know that. There was no stories or books written about the champion of Cyrodiil after the events of the Oblivion Crisis. So what she sees, what she can make sense of, is that Shira-Gorath came to Tamriel, saved him, and then disappeared. You know, and again, it makes sense because it makes no sense. He's the Daedric Prince of Madness. Like, you know, he would... Anything unpredictable is totally predictable for Shira-Gorath. You know, that he would come to Tamriel and save mortals. That seems a bit excessive for a Daedric Prince of Madness. But it also makes complete sense because it makes no sense. And that's the great thing about Shira-Gorath. So she can't really have a logical idea about this because, again, it doesn't make any sense. So I want to leave that there. I want to get this chapter out. Let me know if it's too long. Let me know if you enjoyed it too, of course, because again, the more comments there are, apparently the more it gets out there, the more people that get to see this, and the more people that get to enjoy stories, if that's their thing. I make this for myself, of course, but I also make this for people that enjoy storytelling, character creation, and world building, and expanding upon what is what. Anyway, if you made this far, congratulations. But I'm gonna get back to the living and breathing world, and yeah, catches, look out yourselves, and have a good one.